Hey, 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 happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Tonight is Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. This is episode 522 of The Daily Dope. So if this is your first time joining me, let me point out, this is very, very casual, just simply kicking back, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So we're talking about board games and card games, role-playing games, miniatures games, and so on and so forth. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little bit about PC games, maybe some pop culture, but for the most part, it's all tabletop gaming all the time. So, of course, if you are not familiar with the show, do you want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel. If you haven't, if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell. It will not only let you know when the Daily Dope streams live right here on YouTube, Monday through Thursday nights. It'll also let you know when I upload videos such as my review of the Pathfinder Game Mastery Guide for 2nd edition Pathfinder from Paizo Inc., which is going to go live a little later on tonight. It is already uploaded to YouTube, and it will be good to go. Now, of course, I've got a contest going on tonight, too. So anybody who left a comment on episode 520 is in the running. That means we've got 4 people in the running for the contest. And I had a 4-sided die sitting on top of this book. And of course, when I picked up the book, off went the 4-sided die. So I'm going to take a second to take a look. Yeah, of course it's gone. Oh no, well, there it is. I found it. If I can get this to come over here. Ha ha. Hey, what can I tell you? It's a live show, right? So, do I also want to mention that when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, because this is a live stream, that also means there is chat available here on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So before I jump into the news tonight, did want to mention, I want to say a big thanks to everybody who's been joining the channel. So over the past month, I had a little more than 120 new subscribers to the channel. So as far as I understand, that's about the most that have been pulled in to the channel over, in a period of a month ever. So I'm like, okay, cool. Very sweet. Unfortunately, Pinky's down here. You probably aren't picking her up on this mic. Maybe you are a little bit. But wow, she is just going off. We lucked out yesterday. We didn't have to deal with Pinky. Well, she was still around. She just didn't have to come down into the Duct Tape Studios to chime in and let us know what's going on. And as her hair goes floating past. Jeez. Thanks. She just wants to make sure everybody knows she's here. I guess that's it. All right. So one thing I'm going to take a peek at is, and it's possible that nobody's watching live right now. Nobody's in chat right now. I am going to take a peek though, because it is a little unusual not to have anybody in chat just yet. There we go. A great ace popped in. So I don't have to go check to see, because every once in a while, what will happen is I have my chat window up from YouTube, and then everybody hanging out in chat are somehow in a different chat. It's like, okay, all right, so that's kind of bizarre. So every once in a while, that does happen. So that is not the case tonight, because I see that, of course, a grade A has joined us this evening. One other thing I should point out that I think is kind of weird, and I don't know how it works as I bang into the mic there. Thankfully, it's got a little shock mount, so it shouldn't have been like, wow. But like the other night, we had like 4 people in chat, and so it was kind of a quiet night. And somebody took a peek to see how many people were watching live, and it said that there were 5 people watching live. And then at the end of the show, I went to go upload the thumbnail for the video, and this was within minutes, just a few moments of the stream ending, and then it said there had been 30 views. It was like, I don't get it. And then I took a look at it because I thought, oh, okay, so maybe it was like somebody popped in, watched for a minute or two, and then they were gone. That wasn't the case. So I don't know. It's very, very bizarre. Where it's like watching live. I don't think they're counting people watching live more than once. Very bizarre. Whatever. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, if we had 5 people, that's great. If we had 30 people, that's fine too. I don't know. So a grade A says views separate from subs. Yeah, because usually now I don't know, because I don't have YouTube open in front of me when I'm doing the stream. I do have the chat window popped out from the live stream. So basically, what I'm looking at, of course, is my Sony G85 and my teleprompter, which has the news, and my software that's streaming. So it's actually, I can see myself. It's, about 2-second delay. And, but I do not have like the actual stream up, but I do know that I think if you're watching a live stream on YouTube, it'll show you how many people are watching live. I don't know. Very strange, very bizarre. But anyway, so it says, a grade A says, plenty of people who watch YouTube without subs and accounts. Yeah, I know. I completely agree. I don't know. Is maybe that it? Is it maybe that it's people watching are just people who have accounts? Is what it shows, and then I don't know. I have no idea. It's like I got bigger fish to fry and try to figure out what YouTube is doing, because I'll never figure that out anyway. So I will get to the contest winners at the end of the news. But like I said, I did want to say thank you to everybody who has subbed to the channel. It doesn't matter if you've done it in the past few days, the past month, or if you've been hanging around since the channel launched in, what was it, about 2012? All right, so let's jump on into the news, because I had some interesting stuff tonight to take a look at. First off, Paradox Interactive, who I love all their PC games, well, just about all their PC games, and Renegade Game Studios have teamed to launch a Kickstarter for a new Vampire the Masquerade card game. Here's the dope. Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game puts you in control of a coterie of vampires who vie for control of the city of San Francisco. Through dominating mortals, using their political influence, and clashing with their rivals in the streets in the dark of the night, you'll gather your allies and face off against one or more other players as you seek to push your agenda. It just didn't seem constructed right, did it? I read that word for word. In Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game, say that 5 times fast, each player plays with a deck of cards featuring a clan from Vampire the Masquerade lore. At the beginning of each player's turn, a new challenge or objective will be revealed in the streets. Each player gets to have 2 actions on their turn, such as draw or play cards, recruit vampires, claim a title, or attack. The other clans will oppose you for dominance in the streets or directly in Haven. Defeat your rival or gain 13 agenda points to win the game and claim dominance over San Francisco. There is a short Kickstarter video that will share a little bit of the gameplay, a little more artwork as well. It's pretty short, but let's kick back. Let's give it a peek.
When the sun sets, the undead awaken. To slake their hunger, they feed upon the herd of unaware mortals. Right beneath our noses, the kindred clash against their rivals as they vie for control of the city of San Francisco. Vampire the Masquerade Rivals is an expandable card game for 2 to 4 players based on the popular role-playing game set in the world of darkness. Each player will begin the game with 1 of 4 starting vampire decks featuring 4 clans: Toreador, Ventru, Bruja, or Malkavian. At the beginning of each player's turn, a new card appears in the streets. Players take actions claiming titles, recruiting new vampires, or risk confrontations by taking to the streets. Vampires are powerful beings with a range of abilities. Beware your rivals. Their attacks may hurt your reputation or send a member of your coterie into torpor. Advance your agenda or eliminate your rival to reign victorious over the city. Are you strong enough to cheat final death and see another night? Back Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game today.
Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 45 to 75 minutes, and the project runs through August 20th. You can reserve a copy of the game plus a certain level of stretch goals for a $40 pledge. Expected delivery is this December, so a pretty quick turnaround on this Kickstarter. A couple of things that kind of threw me off a little bit, and I'm not commenting either way. I mean, I don't have an issue with Vampire the Masquerade. I've said it before on the show that I've back in the day, back when a White Wolf was out of Chicago, right, my hometown. I used to pick stuff up all the time. I never ran it, but I did enjoy actually reading the rule books and the various splat books and things like that. I'm kind of surprised that Renegade Game Studios is on this, because it just doesn't seem like their gig, does it? I mean, Renegade tends to, I mean, they do have like Raiders of the North Sea, the North Sea Saga and the Architect Saga, which are a little more serious strategy games, but they're not like horror. So I'm kind of surprised because some of the artwork is a little graphic. So a little weird, a little weird. One thing I will mention that I thought was kind of bizarre is that supposedly there's more than one level of stretch goals. So if you pledge $40 for the base game, you only get a certain level of stretch goals. And then if you want the other stretch goals, it's a higher pledge level for the base game. That I don't like to see. To me, it's either you're going to have stretch goals for everybody, and then if you've got stuff that you want to have a little separate that you want people to have to pay more for, then include that as a different level of support, of pledge. Just have that as separate. Don't call it a stretch goal and then make people pay more for it. It's just weird. It's very strange. I don't know if that was Renegade's idea or if that was Paradox's idea. Pretty strange. I don't know. Could be a cool game though, and it's going to be expandable. So they must have plans for more cards. Of course, they've got more um, clans that they can utilize easily. So pretty sweet. Moving right along, this October is going to see the release of Beyond the Edge from WizKids. Sounds kind of interesting. Here's the dope. Ancient enemies at war have brought ruin to the galaxy. A final act of desperation has caused the folding of space and time. Hey, Doctor Who must be in it. Destroying all but a small star field of systems. Within that star field, on the free planet of Orion, you've been recruited to stem the tide of pirates who have blockaded their small sector of space. However, it is what lies beyond those pirates that will change your destiny and the universe forever. Beyond the Edge uses a gaming system called Evolve/Beyond, an innovative method of allowing you to keep all that you have obtained during each game for the next, allowing you to have individual stories that are specific to your character and which progress independently of your allies. Wouldn't that be with progress, not which progress? Boy, some of these people are just not putting together good sell sheet grammar lately. What's going on here? And WizKids is out of the US, so shouldn't be any excuse there. Beyond the Edge has an easy to learn cooperative game system in which rules and story develop as you play, allowing casual players to learn as they go. However, for gaming veterans, the faction system of Beyond the Edge creates a dynamic play experience in which the races and groups you ally with not only change your objective, but which special abilities and upgrades you have. What's more, with the dry dock system, you can even take your ship captain and missions and jump into other players' games, creating an ever-evolving gameplay experience. Beyond the Edge is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around an hour, and it will carry an MSRP of $69.99 when it arrives in October. Gotta say, this sounds interesting. I wish there were more images to share. The only thing floating out there for this game, and I think this game was announced all the way back in 2018. I don't know if it kickstarted or not. I tried to take a peek. I didn't see anything for a Kickstarter, but that doesn't mean it didn't exist. But this is it. This is the only image that's out there. So it sounds kind of like a legacy game, but not necessarily legacy. So you're not really sitting there and tearing up components and putting stickers on things and so on and so forth. So I don't know. So Viper Dave and Russell Higgins has arrived in chat. They've both popped in. Good to see you both. Thank you for hanging in there. So Russell mentions that they do not usually find themselves interested by card games, but they are interested in Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game. I just find it funny that that's the title. You got to use the whole title. So Grey Day says licensing for Vampire must be making money, as there have been at least 5 to 6 Vampire Kickstarters in the last 12 months. I was thinking the same exact thing. Plus, we have, I feel kind of weird having one game showing here and we're talking about something else. But the funny thing is, not only do we have all these various different Vampire the Masquerade tabletop games, which once Paradox took possession of it, running it from White Wolf, I knew we were going to see a lot more like monetization, I guess we'll say, of the franchise, right? Of the IP. So not only do we have all these tabletop games, there are 2, as far as I know, there are 2 computer games. And I think there are 2 or 3, what do they call those? Like digital novels, which are kind of like create your own adventure, but not. So yeah, there's a lot. There is a lot going on with Vampire the Masquerade. And the question has to be is, Are any of them going to be good? So I know the PC game is, I want to say it carries on Bloodlines. I never played it. Maybe I did, but I don't remember it. If I remember correctly, I think when Bloodlines originally came out for PC, it was just bug haven. So a Great A says, sorry, Zev, but is there a really good WizKids game? Well, we won't know because we don't get to review WizKids games. They set aside all of 5 copies for reviewers. So much for that, right? So a Great A says, well, maybe the new Clash of Cultures will be good. Maybe. You know what? It was funny. I heard all this buzz about The Expanse, and I love The Expanse. I like the series of books. I like the now what are they on Amazon Prime, right? Was on Sci-Fi. Can't remember what I watched the last season on. Yeah. But there was all this buzz and there was all this talk. It's like, ooh, it's like Twilight Struggle and all these other, ooh, yes. And then it came out and then I didn't hear boo. I didn't hear anything about The Expanse from WizKids. So it's kind of funny that a Great A brings that up. Damn, there's like, Pinky was down here and now suddenly there's like cat hair just floating all over the place. And it for some reason it always like attaches to my nose. So Great A says they've got the Blade Runner license as well. Is that Paradox you're talking about or WizKids? So, damn. I remember the Blade Runner PC game from years back, years and years ago. That was excellent. That was an excellent game. I think they've ported it over so now you can actually play on modern PCs, although I don't think they've updated the graphics, which is kind of too bad. So WizKids has the license for Blade Runner. Huh. Well, of course, when Zev went over there from Z-Man Games, you knew WizKids was going to start just, hemorrhaging games. Because God forbid, Zev doesn't release 20 games in a year, right? Although WizKids doesn't release that many. But I will point out, WizKids just doesn't like to share a lot of info about their games. Sometimes you can even go to their website after they've announced a game coming out, and there is nothing on their own website about their game. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. All right, let's move along because it is Wednesday. And I always like sharing wargaming news on Wednesdays. So available for pre-order right now from my pals over at Tiny Battle Publishing is Greg Porter's latest war game, Aiden. Here's the dope. The civil war in Yemen has been going on since 2015, fought between the government, a rebellious faction, and their respective allies. Each group claims to be the legitimate government of Yemen. The fighting uses everything from World War II leftovers to modern ballistic missiles, with Saudi Arabian troops and U.S. drone strikes helping the government and Iranian arms aiding the rebels. Aiden is a 2-player, but very solitaire-friendly, hypothetical campaign for control of this southern Yemen port city, a combined company and platoon-level game where each battle takes place over the course of 1 or more days. Difficult terrain splits the east and west of the city. Combatants often retreat to avoid taking losses before surging back, and making the most of your scattered leadership is the key to resupplying your people and sustaining an offensive. Units activate with a unique dice system, and combat is centered on an add or subtract dice method reminiscent of Greg's Armageddon War. Big thumbs up on that one. Very good game. The game remembers that Aden is a functioning city with key points that will be strategic objectives and scenarios or have special combat effects. Destroy an enemy in sight of the International Hotel where the media are staying. Extra victory points. Enemy is holed up near a major mosque. You cannot call artillery on them. Aiden is for 2 players. As I mentioned, it is solitaire friendly. It's for ages 14 and up. That is my guess. It's not what anybody over at Tiny Battle has said. I'm just saying about 14 and up. You can pre-order it right now for $25. So this is a little less than usual. It is going to carry an MSRP of $28 as well. So a Grade A says the graphic design for this doesn't appear to be Tiny Battle Publishing standards. It looks weird. I found the map looks kind of odd. I'm kind of surprised that the map is so stark with its colors because it is a city. So of course, I believe I think they're maybe color coding by terrain in the city, but I don't know. But yes, I know where you're coming from, Grade A. It does seem a little different graphic design style. All right. Anyway, Russell Higgins had said, I wonder why WizKids doesn't like to share info about their games. I bet I know. So a Grade A said WizKids maybe only has the Blade Runner license for card games. Yeah, because with IPs, it's really weird. You can have all different things. So as an example, right? We had Lord of the Rings. We'll use that as an example. Before we wrap up, this could be a pretty cool game, and it's Greg Porter, so we know Greg Porter does cool stuff. Anyway, so talking about different IPs. So as an example, whoops, wrong one. Get over here. Okay, don't forget. Give the video a thumbs up. Anyway, so as an example, we had Lord of the Rings. So with Lord of the Rings, the role-playing game for the IP was with Cubicle 7. Now it's moved. It's over at Free League Publishing. But then you also had the board games and card games are with Fantasy Flight Games. And then the miniatures games are with Games Workshop. So yes, it is kind of strange how nowadays, well, I guess maybe not strange, it's just different than what it used to be. So if we jump back into the Wayback Machine, we talk about, let's say for an example, TSR and Buck Rogers. Of course, I guess maybe that's not a great example because Lorraine Williams, wasn't it Williams? Wasn't her last name Williams? Her family owned Buck Rogers, and that's why TSR got involved in it. But at that point in time, usually you would have an intellectual property and whatever rights, like game rights to it, would go to one company and they could do whatever they wanted. They could do role-playing games or board games or what have you. So it is kind of unique that we do see nowadays all these various different companies, because it even surprises me sometimes. Probably like, wait a second. It's like, how are they doing this? So Russell says Williams totally trashed TSR, and yes, her family owned that IP. Yes, I do know that. Yeah. So a Grade A is asking, is it the same Greg Porter as the Traveler contributor? That I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is I know Greg is good friends with now my God, I can't believe I'm zoning on his name for a second. Mark H. Walker over at Flying Pig as well as Tiny Battle. So it's, you know what? It's very possible. It is very, very possible. It is the same Greg Porter. So talking about Traveler, that's a role-playing game. So moving on in some role-playing game news. Now available from Chaosium Inc. is a new adventure supplement. It includes 2 one-on-one adventures for Call of Cthulhu. Here's the dope on Does Love Forgive? 2 one-to-one scenarios for Call of Cthulhu. Does Love Forgive is a collection of 2 special scenarios for Call of Cthulhu for 1 keeper and 1 player. Both adventures are perfect for a fun evening of gaming for 2 people. Each scenario can be played over the course of 1 to 2 sessions and is suitable for keepers of all experience levels. First off, we have Love You to Death. Chicago, February 15th, 1929. Wonder what's going to happen that day, huh? It's a cold winter's day when the investigator's good friend Hattie Mae appears in their office at the detective agency. Her beloved pet dog, Highball, hey Highball, is scheduled to be destroyed later today, and she needs the investigator's help getting him back from the Chicago Police Department. It doesn't sound like too difficult a task, does it? Then there's Mask of Desire, New York, September 1932. The investigator, together with their two close friends, Anna Conrad and Lucas Reston, have been invited to a party at wealthy and notorious socialite Madame de Tisson's swanky apartment on the Upper West Side. Anna is somewhat distracted by her audition tomorrow for Nancy Turner, the famous jazz orchestra conductor. What is the link between the audition and a mysterious parcel that arrives the next day? And why do so many people seem to be interested in the contents of the parcel? This supplement is best used with the Call of Cthulhu starter set or the Call of Cthulhu 7th edition role-playing game. This 64-page Does Love Forgive supplement is available in PDF at DriveThruRPG for $5.99. That's a pretty good deal. Pretty cool. I like that. So it was kind of funny because I saw Does Love Forgive? And the first thing I thought is, was this like a Valentine's Day special, adventure for Call of Cthulhu? And I was like, oh, okay. Well, no, it's not. But all right. Okay. So Russ Liggins asks, she's smoking a bottle rocket there? Made it near. So Grade A had asked, I wonder if Buck Rogers could make money. Flash Gordon did really well, but I wonder how many games there are of Flash Gordon. Only Flash Gordon I know of is the Savage Worlds role-playing game. That's the only Flash Gordon I know of. Doesn't seem to be all that popular to run versus popular to own. The weird thing is, Buck Rogers was actually more popular than Flash Gordon way back in the day. But I gotta say, Flash Gordon had way better comic strip. It certainly did. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how well Buck Rogers would fly. There's gotta be. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there a Buck Rogers board game? And I'm not talking about from TSR. Wasn't it like SPI? Trying to think if it was Buck Rogers or if it was something else. Because I could have swore I remember SPI because I had the game. SPI had a game. Oh, no, it was John Carter of Mars. That's what it was. John Carter of Mars is the game I'm thinking of, where it actually had different, almost like mini games built into it. It was, and you know what? It may not have been SPI. No, I think it was SPI. I don't think it was Avalon Hill. All right, let's finish up with our final news piece because there is a new standalone adventure written by Daniel Hanahan. It is for the science fiction horror role-playing game Mothership. Here's a dope on Bloom. A one-shot adventure for use with the Mothership sci-fi horror role-playing game system. At a dark corner of colonized space, a secretive research lab has discovered something astounding, something horrifying, something others want, something that must not get out. With Bloom, you'll get a mercenary-themed adventure prompt for players, an overview of Outpost Choi and the Choi Labs, including various maps, an overview of the Bloom moss that's spread throughout the facility, as well as the various horrors that it has spawned. Handouts detailing maps of the facility also includes a wonderfully unsettling table for symptoms players will suffer as infection slowly overwhelms them, as well as 6 pre-generated characters, a team of Marine mercenaries for optional use in the Bloom Adventure or anywhere else. The 17-page PDF of Bloom is available right now at DriveThruRPG for $4.99. Usually, I would say for 17 pages, that's kind of pricey. But I do know, now granted, this is not from Tuesday Night Games, this is from an individual author. But I do understand that a lot of the mothership releases do have a lot of stuff packed in there. A lot of game action packed inside a few pages. And that's kind of an old school Renaissance role playing style, is to, try to jam as much gaming content into as small package as possible. So there you have it. That is Bloom for Mothership. I gotta sit down and take a look at Mothership one of these days because it looks pretty cool. All right, that is it for the news tonight. So SSI did a PC Buck Rogers game. Maybe that's what I was thinking. The Buck Rogers board game, yes, was TSR. Yeah, that's why I said it was the I think SPI did the game, and it was John Carter, Warlord of Mars. So Russell Higgins says SSI. Now there's a name you don't hear very much of. Wow, back in the day, it was like if SSI came out with something, it was like boom, I'm buying it, because it was SSI did not have a lot of stinkers. There wasn't a lot of crap coming out from SSI, and yes, they did the original Gold Box D&D stuff. They did a lot of simulation. They did a lot of war game stuff. So yeah, that was a great company back in the day. So Great A's talking about a Gen Con interview. Is that with Modifius? So, because yeah, they just recently did John Carter of Mars, the role-playing game, because I reviewed it. And I really like it. I think it was very cool. I don't like the layout of the book because it's kind of an odd. It's like a landscape. It is landscape. It's like you're reading it like this, flipping pages like that. Didn't care for that. There was an FGU Flash Gordon RPG. Wow, really? That I did not know. Fantasy Games Unlimited. I was like, there was another company. I used to always buy their games, never ran anything, but I would read through the books. That's one of the reasons why I talk about how when I run a role-playing game, I've yet to actually had a role-playing game that I've run verbatim according to the rule book. There's always something I've taken out and thrown away and replaced with something else. And that's because I have read so many of these game systems over the years. So yes, I used to always pick up the FGU stuff. So I had Bushido, which I think Bushido is a system that should get another life because it was less high fantasy than, say, Legend of the Five Rings. To me, at least, Bushido seemed to be a little more grounded in reality, even though there are the mythical monsters and creatures and stuff like that. But I liked Bushido. We had Space Opera was another one. Super crunchy rules, if I remember right. Didn't they do Aftermath? Wasn't that their post-apocalyptic role-playing game? I remember spending an afternoon rolling up characters for a campaign that nobody ever played. So that was at the place. If you watch the show, I've mentioned this a couple of times. I miss the old days when it was, you would have just like these little places and they would have like a game weekend or a game day. So for an example, it wasn't that many years ago. It was maybe 15 that there was a game day at a church that Elliot and I went to in Chicago. And it was not in the church, obviously enough, but it was like in the lunchroom for, it was probably like, a small school, Catholic school with it. And went to that. But anyway, we went, it was twice. This community center in Oak Park, Illinois, which is just a suburb of Chicago. It's right next to Chicago. They had this weekend, this gaming weekend, and it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we went, and then there was a gaming group that kind of operated out of the community center, and we went to just game on Saturdays a couple of times. And I know one of them was that we were rolling up Aftermath characters. And I thought, oh, this looks kind of cool. I went and bought it. That's good. When people wonder how in the world did I have all these games when I was a teenager, it's because I started working when I was 13. So I actually, ready for this? This will remind you a little bit of Breakfast Club. I had a fake ID so I could go get a job, go get a part-time job. I wanted to. It wasn't like my parents made me or anything. I wanted to. So I was the kid who always had some money. So I was pretty popular. So it was funny because I would have, my high school friends be like, oh, I don't have money to do anything. I'd be like, I don't know. I do. See ya. Or I'd pay. All right. So Grade A says, yes, it was Aftermath. And Lynn Carter and Scott Bazar did the FGU Flash Gordon. That's kind of interesting. So yes, Aftermath was a D20 game. That I do remember. And the one thing that stood out about Aftermath was, if I remember right, I think it was even on the artwork on the cover, or maybe it was inside the game. Somebody was using a stop sign or as a shield. And I remember it was kind of like, I don't think I've seen that before. All right, so that is it for tonight's news. So let's finish up with the contest winners. So we've got 4 people who are in the running for a PDF of one of this year's Any award-winning titles that are available on DriveThruRPG. And the easiest way to find out what exactly is available on DriveThruRPG, go over to thegaminggang.com. I've got a news piece that shares all the Any Award winners, and you'll see the links. So, of course, if it links over to DriveThru, it's available on DriveThru. So we have 4 contestants. So let me jump back here. So I make sure that I know Will Burton's one. I know the Madman is another. We have, I think it's DL Photos. And then we have one more. I just got to remember who the one more was. So let's take a quick look. Just double checking, see what we've got. DLN Photos, the Madman, Will Burton, and Kabuki Kid. That's how I couldn't remember. So none of them were winners in the live giveaway. So I've got a 4-sided die here, which if you were watching early on and I said, oh, hey, I'll have this review up earlier. I had the die sitting on the book here. I picked it up and it went zing. So I had to go get it. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what we've got. So we're going to do DLN Photos is 1. The Madman is 2, Will Burton is 3, and Kabuki Kid is 4. And I had to laugh because the Madman actually had posted a comment saying he was watching live, and I guess his daughter was sitting there, and she was like, "You're not going to win, Dad. You're not going to win." And he didn't, at least for the live giveaway. All right, let's roll the die here. So first off, we've got number 4, Kabuki Kid is one of our winners. Let's roll this again. Number 1, DLN Photos. So now it comes down to the Madman and Will Burton. And it is the Madman. The Madman has won. See, of course, he's not watching live, so he can't sit there and be like, yeah, to his daughter. So, alrighty. Anyway, I have to say, in fact, I think I commented back at the Madman. I said, wow, that's like Rodney Dangerfield level, right? It's kind of like, hey, get no respect. I get no respect here. So DNL Photos is watching live and chimes in. So everybody else who they've been following the show, they know how this works. Basically, what you need to do is you need to reach out. You need to email me at jeffmcaleer@thegaminggang.com. Let me know which one you want to win. So Russell Higgins won the other night. It's like, okay, cool. I won. And he emailed me and I said, well, you got to tell me which one you want. You're not winning them all. So yeah, so DNL Photos, you need to shoot me an email. Let me know which any award winner you would like a copy of. And I will get that to you. All right. That is it for tonight's show. So as I always like to remind folks, if you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, ring that notification bell because it will not only let you know when the Daily Dope streams live, Monday through Thursday nights, right here on YouTube. I'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as my review for the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Game Mastery Guide from Paizo Inc., which you will have on tonight. So Russell Higgins like, I emailed you back. Come on. Oh, I know. I just thought it was kind of funny. It's sort of like, you got to tell me what you want. Which one do you want? All right. So anybody who was out there watching live, thank you very much. Those of you who hung out in chat, always appreciate you keeping me company. And for those of you who don't have an opportunity to watch live, maybe even watch on Memorex, also really, really appreciate you taking time out to watch this mug just babble on and on and on and on. And once again, a big thank you to all the new subscribers. We did crank out about 120 new subscribers this past month. So very, very cool. Russell Higgins says, I was too excited because I never win. Well, there you go. You won. Nice. Nice. All righty. So everybody out there, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night / Thursday morning. I will be back tomorrow as I wrap up my week of the Daily Dope. So, of course, until I see you next, please be sure to be smart, stay safe during this time of pandemic, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.